Overwatch 2 has a massive counter swap problem. Or does it? Come with me. Let's take a look at this. Come with me. Because I think we need a mental readjustment here. There are counters in Overwatch, but they're not hard counters. It isn't like you select X hero and that's it. You instantly win against Y hero. And I think a lot of players think that's the case. And so they just give up and they throw. They go, well, I mean, the enemy team have got a Pharah Mercy, right? It's even worse. They've got a Pharmacy, yeah? So, we've got no hit scan. Let's just give up. Okay, in that case, they're going to have a big advantage if you've got no hit scan. But it isn't an instant win. There are things your team could do to get around that. Maybe you just rapidly engage the enemy team, kill their supports. Don't give the Pharah a chance to actually, you know, get purchased. But whatever, that's just a wild example. What I want to do here is focus on this video because I think this is more prevalent with tanks. Tanks just give up. They're like, okay, I'm playing a hero. This is the hero I want to play, and I'm just going to bang my head against the wall over and over again. So in this game here, the enemy's got a Pharah. They've actually got a Pharmacy. We've got a Bastion, and we've got a Tracer as our DPS. Their tank is a D.Va. Now, look at this. I actually managed to demech the D.Va there. I think that's pretty decent, but we've lost most of our team here. Their Pharah's doing a ton of work. You will notice our DPS will swap to try and counter that in a second. I get a kill. So this isn't an ideal matchup for me, but it's still kind of okay. I am about to die now. Look at this. Super jammy. Super lucky that D.Va. I was trying to kill it. Wouldn't have mattered anyway because the rest of my team are dead. So what do I do now? What do I do? What am I going to do here? I'm going to make it easier for myself. I'm going to pick Zarya. Because why am I picking Zarya? Because Zarya can do effective damage to D.Va by completely negating her defense matrix. Whereas Hog, you can hook her, but she tends to just fly away. And also she can eat your primary fire, which means you do no damage to her. So things are going to change now. And so what we're going to see here is when I bring when we take a look at the team, but I think now we've got a hit scan, not just the Bastion on its own. I think the Bastion might have swapped. But look at what's happening here. I'm frontline tanking with Zarya, and I'm just focusing on the D.Va when she's close to me, but looking for the squishy targets when they're easy to hit. So I don't know why that Pharah was on the ground. That's really easy for me, so I kill her. You know, you can actually say, Zarya is not a counter to a Pharah, so why the hell am I killing the Pharah? Because the Pharah played bad and got in the way. But look at what's happening here. I am absolutely just walking through their team, destroyed their tank. I'm thinking, okay, give me a bit of free charge there. They can't do anything to me. Their team isn't really built to deal with me, but they could if they ignored me or they didn't charge me. You get what I'm saying, guys? There's all these like little nuances with Overwatch where I think this is all lost in, the enemy have picked Reinhardt, we can't play Zarya no more, which is a good example because that happens in this game. Because I decide to go Reinhardt versus Reinhardt. Because if I see a Reinhardt on the enemy team, let's play Reinhardt because I think it's just cool to play Ryan versus Ryan. I love it. So maybe that's not the best example. Also, I don't know what that Pharah was doing there. Maybe just losing their mind. But whatever. But the point I'm trying to get across is there are lots of ways you can outplay in Overwatch. And it isn't just they have picked X hero, we've got Y hero, so we lose. Now, I agree this is amplified on tanks because you'll often get, well, okay, the enemy, I mean, the enemy team are probably talking to each other going, get off the D.Va. They've got a Zarya. You know, that happens a lot because people just think, okay, well, that's it. You need to swap your hero. It's not as cut and dry as that. That's the point I want to make in this video. There are a lot of opportunities to outplay. The D.Va needs to change their playstyle, i.e. not be on the front line, i.e. not even try and attack me, really, because I can just deal with her a lot easier, right? There obviously are times where the D.Va could attack me, could push me, force me out of position. See, the enemy now have got a Mei, so I'm a little bit worried now. I'm thinking I don't really want to get walled off by the Mei. Mei is a bit of the bane of the existence for most tank players. But even here, I'm thinking, right, it's not looking great. They've used Tac Visor. So honestly, if we all die in this fight, I'm not really too fussed. We are using Coalescence there. Do manage to get, again, the demech on the D.Va because the D.Va's still playing super aggressive, pushing forward onto me, which isn't the play. So that D.Va is, in a way, I don't want to say feeding, but is, in a way, making the counter of my selection of the Zarya into the D.Va more effective because of the way that they're playing. Does that make sense? Like, I might be just talking crap here or sound like I'm talking crap. But what I'm trying to get across is I don't want people giving up because they just think, oh, also our soldier gets a really cool demech here at range. Yeah, good work of our soldier. But I don't want people just giving up because they think, okay, well, the enemy team have got a counter to what we've got. Now, talking of hard counters, sometimes they do exist in Overwatch. They have in the past. I'm not going to use old examples because they're not relevant anymore. The Pharmacy sort of example, I guess we can use. But even there, I still don't think it is a straight up like, uh-oh, we've lost the game. So Pharmacy into a team comp that doesn't have hit scan is obviously a lot more free to do what it wants to do. That doesn't mean that the team without hit scan can't win. You know, if they're playing like a rush comp or something like that, and they just push forward, you know, maybe they've got Rein, Mei, and then, like, I don't know, throw a Reaper in, for example, and they're just rushing your team down. Well, they're killing your tanks and your supports before the pharmacy can actually do anything in the fight. So that would be one way around it. But on paper, you would say, well, the pharmacy is just going to be able to do what they like. Now, the other element to all of this, this is an interesting point. It's if you look at the top 500 list, you will see that typically one tricks tend to be quite high. Now, what is going on there? Well, I don't think, again, that's as cut and dry as, well, the one tricks show us that there aren't really any counters in Overwatch, or soft counters or light counters, as I'm trying to push forward in this video. The thing with ladder and competitive play is you can just keep playing game after game after game after game after game after game. And if you are a Symmetra one trick, there will be games where you'll play against comps that will going to be pretty effective against you, and you might not win. But you will play against comps that are maybe not as effective against you, and you will win. And so over time, you will increase in rank. But the key thing here is you become very skilled with that hero, and it becomes easier for you to find the little gaps, right? So in a lot of ways, you can look at these top 500 players and think, they are showing us a different way of playing the game in some respects, but what they're doing is becoming so good at their hero against all different team comps that they know how to look for the opportunities. That was an awesome right click as well. They know how to look for the opportunities. But in this game, right, I think I'm playing pretty well because I can almost ignore their tank, because their tank is still focusing on me and isn't really going after the right targets on my team. So can you see how I'm being very effective? And I am playing Zarya into a D.Va, and Zarya into a D.Va is very effective if the D.Va wants to stand on the front line like this one is doing and let me beam her down over and over again. She's just a massive ult battery for me. She can't do anything to me. My DPS are pushing forward. I can use my protected barrier to keep them alive. You know, I can just push forward myself. See, D.Va throws a bomb in. It doesn't really matter because it's just free charge for me. Unlucky that my Illari died to it. This is good use of Coalescence there by their Moira to keep the soldier alive, which I was a bit miffed about because I thought I might be able to get a really quick kill. I'm also a big fan of just solo ulting with Zarya. I love it. Just solo on. But look, again, it doesn't really matter. I am able to push forward. I'm managing my barriers quite well. You know, they're out of position. That Cassidy, though, did manage to kill our support there, was it? Who did he kill? Oh, no, it was our Tracer, sorry. So, you know, but again, like, look, the D.Va's coming towards me. It's easy for me to get value. The value there is, yes, it is my hero pick. But what I'm trying to get across in this video, and the reason why I wanted to use this is, yeah, it was a tank game, but also it's a game where the enemy tank player isn't adapting their play style, and they're just carrying on playing how they would have played against my Roadhog. But now things change, right? Look, there's now a Reinhardt. So what am I going to do in this example? Well, I know if I just beam the shield, it's not really going to be very effective. My Tracer's being super far forward there, so I'm trying to keep her alive. I'm going to push the Rein if there's nothing else for me to attack. Because if I can get rid of his barrier, that's obviously going to be great for us. But as you'll watch, what happens here is I make some mistakes. Not yet, but I do in a second. I'll make mistakes in what I'm doing. So I didn't want to die to the Cassidy ult there. Managed to pull back. Soldier gets a bunch of kills. I'm thinking this is actually looking pretty good for us, right? We're taking the enemy team out. Of course, they're going to be able to reinforce quicker, and they are going to come through. But I'm thinking here now, I'm going to grab them to stop them getting onto the point. This is a problem. So I grab the Rein, and I try to kill the Rein. This is not good, because the Rein is not really going to die to me. And as you'll see, watch the kill feed, right? I've spent all of that energy, all of that time on that Reinhardt, and I end up dying first. That was not the play. That was a bad mistake. So on paper, Reinhardt gets countered by Zarya. Yeah? Sorry, Zarya gets countered by Reinhardt because of the barrier. But what actually played out there is me being an absolute feeder and just putting all of my resources into the Reinhardt, which was not the value. I should have went after the squishy targets, just ran past the Reinhardt. I could have ended the game there, and I didn't. And that is a bad mistake off me. Anyway, so times go forward now, and I'm like, right, it's a Reinhardt, so me being stupid, I'm like, any chance I get to play Rein versus Rein, we're going to do it, right? Because it gives me, like, it's like a massive nostalgia hit from Overwatch 1, but I just love it. It's like, it's such a pure pure thing. It's like, I know this guy's probably got Shatter. Yeah, there's his Shatter. I think I sort of maybe blocked a bit of it, but he did land it on one of our players there. But I did manage to countercharge him, and then, of course, I get outplayed by Kiriko with Suzu. But it doesn't matter because, look, we managed to push forward and get the kill. So that felt really good to me. That was like an awesome little bit of gameplay there. I knew he had Shatter. I was looking to block it. And again, the reason why I know he had Shatter is because he killed me and I think it was up. But even if I wasn't paying attention to that, he was involved in so much combat, he was probably going to have Shatter. He was swinging his hammer around right outside their spawn. He was swinging his hammer around there for ages. He was dropping 5 strikes. Obviously, he's probably going to have Shatter, that Rein player, right? I think the moral of the story of this video is, the more I look at Overwatch 2, and I'll be totally honest with you guys, I obviously played a ton of Overwatch 1, but Overwatch 2, I've been a lot more casual in my approach to it. I haven't really gone too deep into the whole sort of like, let's just spam comp and let's just see how the games are playing out. Yeah, I know competitive change is coming in Season 9, I think, so that's probably the time to play comp rather than just spamming the games out now. But like, it seems that there's like a mentality shift with players in the game where they think countering is like the be-all and end-all in this game as we win there. So look, pretty good stats, pretty good game, and that's the end of that. Anyway, yeah, I just think like, I don't want you to go out there and play Overwatch 2 and think they have heroes that counter our heroes. If you've got a one trick on your team as well, just embrace it. Just be like, okay, this person's probably specialized in that hero. Let's just embrace it. Just go with the flow. They might be able to find other ways of outplaying the enemy. They might be used to dealing with players that are, you know, playing heroes that generally would counter them. You know, I don't class myself as like an expert in any hero, so I do tend to swap more. I come at it from the approach of this, which is maybe a wrong way to look at it, but I think, you know, I'm not 21 anymore, right? My reactions are not as fast as they used to be. So if I can use my head a little bit and think, well, okay, if they've got a Reinhardt, okay, I would generally do play Rein into Rein, but let's say I was wanting to be terrible. I would go, okay, they've got a Reinhardt. Well, what's pretty good against the Rein? Actually, new Roadhog's okay against the Reinhardt. You're going to be good against his barrier. You can hook him when he goes for charge. But again, it's focusing on what the Rein player is doing, and this is sort of like the moral of the story of the video. Like, if I'm looking at the Rein, let me just go through this. Let me just break this down, right? So if I'm playing against the Reinhardt and I'm Roadhog, what am I going to do? Well, the Rein is probably going to front line for his team. It's very rare that he's going to play some sort of flank Reinhardt. Maybe it happens, I don't know, but probably not. It's going to be front line, and if we're playing on New Queen Street again, let's just say he's pushing forward, the Reinhardt is, and I'm Roadhog. Well, what am I trying to do? Well, I'm not just throwing my hook out willy-nilly, trying to hook random DPS or people like that. I'm thinking, I'm going to get this guy. The moment he charges, I'm going to hook him, because that's going to just pull him out of his charge, pull him in front of me. Maybe I can pull him out of position, right? I'm going to be thinking things like, is he going to fire strike me now? Do I need to expose myself? Do I need to hide behind some cover? I'm watching what he's doing, and I'm actively trying to outplay him. Yes, I've got the hero, which is better at outplaying him in some ways. Let's do Rein versus Rein as an example. So if I'm looking at the Rein versus Rein, what am I looking for? Well, I'm trying to keep track of his ultimate charge, because I need to block his Earth Shatter. That's a big component to it. I'm looking for counter charges. I'm looking for charges where I, like, so a counter charge would just be he's charging towards me, I'll charge into him, okay? But I'm looking for charges like you guys seen in that video, where he went for the Earth Shatter, and then he sort of comes, well, I think he charged, didn't he? Earth Shatter, then he charged in, and then I'm looking at him, then I charge him away from his team, trying to kill him. But guess what happened? The Kiriko on his team sees that happening and outplays that with a Suzu. Comes in, drops a Suzu. But then the other problem is she's way out of position there. So has she outplayed? Well, as we've seen in the gameplay clip, not really, because then they all ended up dying, I believe. Right? At least I hope they did. But she was out of position. Overwatch is one of the most complicated games there is out there. Don't let anybody tell you it's a simple game. It isn't. It is very complicated. And a lot of this makes me think I should maybe bring Overanalyze back. Now, I've got to stress. I am not in any world a coach for Overwatch 2, right? I'm not professional. I don't play at an ultra high level. I've never played for a team. You know, I'm just a guy that likes Overwatch. So I can probably go back and do my stupid like entertainment, spectating style coaching, which of course probably some of you guys know from a few years ago, where, you know, I mean, it's been a long time ago, but it was like an Overwatch coaching series. Maybe I'll bring that back. I don't know. I'm unsure about that. But I will say, after playing comp and seeing the way players react, especially to counters, I think there's a problem with perception. And hopefully this video has sort of shined the light on that, where I don't worry too much about hard counters, because I don't really think they exist. Soft counters or light counters do exist, but there are ways of playing around them, but it just comes down to what you're looking for in the game. If you just go brain dead into the enemy, think about what that D.Va did to me on Zarya, was just brain dead front lining all the time. Do it, because I'm just going to beam you down. But guess what? D.Va's highly mobile, Zarya is not. So if you want to get in the back line, if you want to do something on the flank, it's going to be a problem for me, isn't it? But if you're just going to stand in front of me, I'm going to take all that sweet charge, I'm going to demech you, and then it's going to be a 4v5, and the stats show that basically that's a 90% win all of the time for the team with more players. All right, okay. Thank you, everyone, for listening to my sort of semi-rant about this. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, let me know in the comments below. And if you'd like to see Overanalyze back, then, I don't know, drop a comment below or whatever, and let me know, and I'll think about it, and we'll see what we can do. Because I still get people sending me replays for it, which is the insane thing. Not that many these days, so obviously we haven't done it for a long, long time. Probably like over a year we haven't done it. Probably even longer than that, to be honest. But anyway, all right, guys. Thank you for listening or watching to the video. I'll catch you a lot on the next one. See you soon.